Series, and thank you for jumping back on with us today. I have a very good friend of mine. I've been friends with Eric and Bobby for years and been all over the world with them and had a good time. But also, I have watched him from the time I've met him. I would consider him to be an expert in insurance. Like, he knows the ins and outs of it. And if I have a question about how something's working, he's a guy that I call. So not only is he a builder and dynamic on stage and helps people, but he's also extremely smart with the products. So we wanted to invite him on today to talk to us about Foresters. So Eric, thank you for joining us today, and we're glad you're here. You can hear me all right? Perfect.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So we wanted to talk about Foresters. It is my opinion, and I think it's Eric's too, that Foresters is the best insurance company in America. I'll tell you the reason why I think that, because I'm a member. I have a policy with Foresters. The first insurance policy that I purchased here was Foresters. And then at the time I had 2 children. They sent me and my children to watch Paw Patrol, which is a bunch of dogs in a coliseum. And my wife was like, this is a big deal. And Foresters paid for all of it. And all they said was, because you're a member with us. And so from that point on, I belong to Foresters. I'll never belong to another. I'll never get rid of my Foresters. They bought me for life with Paw Patrol, but that's just part of the benefit. And so what we wanted to do today is have Eric treat me like I'm one of his new hires, somebody new that got started with him, and he's going to walk through and explain to me why to use Foresters, all the different benefits, and how to explain that in the house, and how he teaches people. And then all the documents that I have in front of me, we will put that on band in just a few minutes so you can check it out as well. So Eric, I'll be your new person, and I'm excited to be in the Bellaire hierarchy. I'm fired up about that.
I'm excited to have it, man.
And so we'll go from there. So I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. This is Eric Bellaire, and honored to be on this Rising Tide call for the Alliance. And thank you for the invite, Andy Albright, Chris Hill, and everybody else up there. Here's the thing, Chris. I want you to go out there and wow your clients. I want you to go out there and show your clients the power of our products, the power of our services. And the company that I want you to know about, Chris, not only for your clients, but for you and your family, is Foresters. And Foresters, Chris, can handle a lot of different angles for your client. First thing is, Foresters offers a term product. Foresters offers a UL product. Foresters offers a whole life product for the healthy. Foresters offers a final expense product, and Foresters offers a child whole life product. So Chris, they're one of the few companies we have that offer that gambit of products. So you really don't got to look around for a lot of other different companies to help your family or the families you're sitting with. The reason I would tell you to get with Foresters right away, Chris, and to make that a contract you do right away is, I know your clients are going to be satisfied. I know your clients are going to be happy with the product. The biggest thing I want you to do, Chris, is I want you to be placing this in front of your clients, so when they purchase, they're not going to be replacing it anytime soon. They're not going to be canceling it anytime soon. You don't cancel something, you don't get rid of something that is so amazing as Foresters. And I want to give you some information about that. You told me when I hired you, you have children. I know that you have a beautiful wife, you have some children. Chris, I want to give you some ideas of the power of Foresters and why I love them and why my clients love them. Just to let you know, when you get this policy with Foresters, Chris, for yourself, and you start showing it to families you sit with, it's not just a death benefit. You're getting more than a death benefit. You're becoming a member of a company who's been around for 150 years. They sell in England, they sell in Canada, and they sell in the United States of America. And they believe in the well-being of families and the well-being of children. They're not for profit, so they want to share their profits with their insured. You, as a policyholder, by the way, Chris, they're the only not-for-profit company we have. So at Foresters, listen, besides the death benefit, which any other company can give you, We want to provide you even more. So we're going to say to you, young father, and to your young wife, if you both die before your kids are 18 years old, we're going to give them each $900 a month in child support. On top of the death benefit, Chris, if you don't put this policy on yourself today for you and your family, I would say you're crazy. I have 8 children, 11 grandchildren, and this is a policy that I got immediately because of that one benefit. My mom and dad had 30 kids. That one benefit alone, you could do the mathematics. By the way, Chris, if your wife were to die before your children were 25, they would give each child 24 grand to go to college on top of the death benefit. Chris, I can go through a formulary with you and show you what other companies will charge you for the same face amount that you're going to get from Foresters. And they may be $1, they may be $1 more, but none of them are going to give you, on top of the death benefit, what Foresters is going to give you. And Chris, besides those two benefits, which are unbelievable, Foresters will also provide you living benefits that you could take advantage of without having to die. You could take advantage of tickets to go to concerts, theme parks, NFL games, NBA games, to keep your family involved with the community and with life. Foresters sponsors these events around the country, and they allow you, when they sponsor these events, to get up to 4 tickets per event for free. Foresters will give you a will for free. Foresters will give you credit counseling for free. Foresters will give you money every year for the rest of this policy's life if you run into a hardship because of an accident, a surgery, or because of a disaster. They'll give you a $300 check, Chris, a $300 check, maximum a year, if you run into some sort of a situation. Now, Chris, other companies won't do this. Other companies just don't do this. Why would you not take this product that gives you so much more for your money besides the death benefit? And the nice thing about it, Chris, is you're going to get clients that will give you referrals and give you more people because they love the product. They'll send you to other people that they know and love to help you to spread your wings and build your business.
I got a question, Eric. So let's go back to the $900 a month. Is that, do you say $900? So if I got 3 kids and me and my wife die, then whoever takes the children gets $900 a month for the 3 kids?
That is correct. When the biological parents die or the legal guardian for the children die, the new legal guardian gets $900 each per child until the kids are 18 years old.
All right, so my daughter is 6, 4, and 2. So you're saying 12, so she goes to, it's 12 years until she's 18. So 18 months, no, 18 times 12 would be 216 months times 900. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's $194,000.
So I'd get $194,000 for my daughter. Well, let's say if I took out a $100,000 policy with Foresters term. So Abigail, my oldest, would get 194. Then I have a 4-year-old, so she would get north of 194, and a 2-year-old. So if I died today, it'd be 194 times 3 plus more.
Well, we might have done the math wrong because a new baby is 194,000 over 18 years. So 900 a month. So if a 6-year-old, that 6-year-old to the rate, that's 12 years times 12, that's 144 months times 900. That 6-year-old would get 129,000.
129,000. Okay. So what you're saying, though, in a sense, let's just take the oldest, so 129 times 3 plus my policy, say, was only 100,000. So a total of 487,000, but only paying for 100,000 of it.
Yes, sir.
That's a pretty big deal. So
don't forget about
that's how you're explaining it to an agent. Is it the same if you're sitting in a house? Do you do that math with somebody? Do you start breaking down the math of their children?
Yes, sir.
So then if somebody comes in with another company, This impossible to compete with an extra $194,000 on my new child.
Impossible.
Because it's free. Talk to me a second about the, you said the $300 if there's something, an emergency or something takes place.
Yeah. I keep a list, not just of my own family's checks, but all my clients who I help. I keep a list and I sent it to you. And it's not everybody, because it would be a huge list. But Chris, if you or your wife have an emergency situation arise because of an accident, a surgery, or a disaster, you could call up Foresters once a year and get a $300 cash check to help you through that situation. That does not deduct from your life insurance benefit. So if you're only 25 years old and you get a whole life policy to 100 and you live to be 100 at 75 years, imagine going through something each year for the next 75 years. A surgery, an accident, a hurricane, something. 75 times 300, that's an additional $22,500 paid on top of your, say, $25,000 policy, $50,000 policy. No other company in America can say this.
So $300, if something goes wrong, everything, do I have to pay that back?
No, it's yours.
Just straight up mine. Very cool. So it sounds like Foresters is an amazing product. What if you have somebody that comes in with, say, well, I know Mutual of Omaha is a more prominent name, or I know they name some insurance company. How do you get across maybe Foresters is not a household name like Transamerica?
I simply say these words, Chris, and I want you to know this as a new agent of mine, and we're still doing that role play, is the state of Florida insurance commissioner, who's right here around my neck in his name, they change, they get voted in, elected in, whatever. He would not allow Foresters to provide for his citizens unless they were a reputable, honorable company. And that, if the state of Florida did not feel this company was right for their citizens, they would kick him out. This company has a reputation. This company's been around for 150 years. And the reason you don't know their name maybe is they don't waste their money on TV advertising. They don't waste their money on advertising. They'd rather put $20 million a year every year to the Children's Miracle Network. They'd rather put $5 million every year into the Red Cross. They'd rather do that with their money. They'd rather build playgrounds around America. They'd rather build schools around America, paint schools, build churches, paint churches. This is the kind of company they are. And that's why I'm telling you, and by the way, Chris, if you own it, your clients will be more apt to also purchase it themselves. Because if you're a believer, they're a believer.
When you're in the house, let's say you're going through the ATM, when do you start talking about all the member benefits? Is it before you talk about the price? Where at in the process do you deal with this?
The quote sheet. When you get to the quote sheet, that's your opportunity to tell the client about the quotes and the company you chose for them and their needs. And the quote sheet's the longest sheet you stay on, in my opinion.
And you sent me this complimentary member benefits. Do you have that and give it to them in the house and show it to them?
Absolutely. Every single client gets one of these. Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So it sounds like the only reason you would not write Foresters is if there was some health issue and had to go to somewhere else, but everything runs through Foresters first.
Absolutely.
I imagine it makes your persistency and placement through the roof because it's hard to compete against. Would you say for a new person, since Foresters offers pretty much everything that we need, it's a lot easier for a new person to learn Foresters first because they offer so many different products?
Yes, Chris, that's what the F stands for. First. Foresters.
Very
forever.
Cool. Anything else on Foresters?
It's really important that people know they're not going to always talk to people your age. They're going to talk to people that are in their 60s and their 70s. And we have Foresters Plan Right. And I cannot stress enough that it's the #1 go-to final expense product that we have, because not only do you get all those benefits, but you get an answer in the home before you leave because of the required phone call. And the information you get back from that interviewer, they let you know, Chris, if your client's approved or not. And if your client's not approved, Chris, they let you know why. And then you could take that information and either help the client still get approved with Forrester because the information could be incorrect, or you can move them to the product that will cover them because they agree they do have Alzheimer's or dementia. Now, don't tell me that wouldn't make your job more easy and more simple by you knowing what you're dealing with before you leave the home with an application that gets turned down 3 days later, 4 days later, 5 days later, when you're dealing with final.
That's a big deal because typically you're waiting like 3 or 4 days, and then you've got to get back in touch with the client, and you have to do a whole presentation again. So what you're saying as Foresters is, while you're still there, you find out, and then they tell you, here's the reason why. So you're pitching another Foresters product, or if you have to, going somewhere else. So instead of running 2 appointments, Foresters makes it we only have to run 1.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. And then last thing on Foresters. So strong foundation, you write a lot of it. And I know you do a lot of conversion because you've been with us for a long time. How easy is it to do conversions with Foresters?
It's real simple. It's real simple, Chris, and I'm glad you brought that up because real quick, I want to say a little. I told you there's some little special nuances about Foresters, and there's some things that people can figure out as they go through the process. Do you know, Chris, that Foresters takes people who smoke pipes, cigars, chew tobacco, they do nicotine patches or that electronic cigarette, and they'll give them non-tobacco rates? Our only company that will give them non-tobacco rates, but only on the term, Chris. But now I'm going to say this is like a secret, and I'm going to lower my voice, but it's really not a secret. 1 year later, you can convert that person to a Smart UL or to a Whole Life Advantage Plus, and they'd still have non-tobacco rates. But you're not allowed to write them a fresh Smart UL or a fresh Advantage Plus because they would be tobacco rates. But once you get them in term with non-tobacco rates, you can convert them 1 year later and get them a Whole Life or a Smart UL non-tobacco rates. That's a little nuance, which is a pretty sweet thing.
What's typically the difference in premium, say, on a 40-year-old smoker versus non-smoker?
Oh my gosh,
big difference.
Talking double.
Doubles?
Yeah,
so what you're saying is with Foresters, you can get that person approved under a term and then a year later convert it to a permanent policy at the non-smoker rate.
Yes, sir.
So they can technically everywhere else in the country be a smoker, but with Foresters have a permanent policy as a non-tobacco person.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
With those types of tobacco, not cigarettes, but those types, yes.
Right. Very cool. So the last thing I wanted to talk about a second, Eric, was lead investment, because I know you're real big on lead investment and I know day one you started investing. And so kind of walk me through if I'm a new person, and let's say I'm coming to you and I've got a little bit of cash flow, maybe I'm working part-time. How does the conversation go with me about leads? Are you looking for me as a new person to buy leads, or are you wanting me to try to make sales without buying any leads and go into it like a poor person? Or what is your goal with me as a new person when it comes to leads?
Chris, I'm going to ask you what you can invest in our lead program, what you're willing to invest in our lead program, but I'm also going to ask you what your income goal is and what kind of income you're hoping to make and need to make, right? So I want to mix those two together. Some people need to make 50 grand a year. Some people need to make 200 grand a year. It depends on what your goals are. But if your goal is to make, say, 10,000 a week, then you're going to have to invest the money into the resources to produce that 10,000 a week. You're not going to be able to produce 10,000 a week without the resources that require that $10,000 income. Now, I could tell you, Chris, that if you say to me, Eric, I want to do 10,000 a week in income, but I'm only willing to spend $200 to get there, I'm going to say then you're going to do a lot of other stuff unless you're willing to up that investment. And then I'm going to give you ideas to up that investment. And you may not like my ideas. You may not like my suggestions. I mean, I'm going to honestly tell you that I sold my wedding bands off my finger and my wife's finger when I became an agent with the Alliance. And that money was used to kickstart my business. And I needed to do that to kickstart my business. And I will tell you, I've met other people that have sold things that are important to them because they know they're just items that they can replace one day. You can't start a business broke. You can't start a business without investing in your business. So you got to make a decision today. You got to go home and talk to your wife, and you got to say, listen, Eric's given me this formula. He said if we want to make $5,000 a week, then we need to invest this much money a week in leads. And if we're not going to invest that much money a week in leads, we're not going to make that kind of money. So he knows what he's talking about. Andy Albright knows what he's talking about. This is the formula. And we know that for every $100 you spend, you'll pay $1,000. And
so let's say, Eric, I want to make, let's say I want to make $2,000 a week. That's a six-figure income. What are some of the, and we've got about a minute left. What are some of the ideas on how I come up with that money that you would pitch to me about?
Well, Chris, listen, you're a young guy. I know you might have an Xbox. I know you might have a this or that. And by the way, we want to stop doing things, right? And we want to start doing things. So the things you're going to stop doing means you're also going to stop using. So if you're going to stop doing it and you're going to stop using it, then there's a pawn shop that could take it from you. Mm-hmm. And Chris, if you ever want it back, get it back when your life is back on track. Because the reason we're trying to help you is because you want to be where you're not today, tomorrow in a better place. So take my advice and stop doing the things you should be stopped doing. And with whatever that is, you're also going to probably stop using that projector or stop using that second vehicle or stop using that whatever. I would tell you to probably sell it. I would probably go get rid of it. Now, listen, if you have a credit card, use your credit card, run your debt up, make the small monthly payment. It will pay off. I'm not asking you to go in debt forever. I'm asking you to go in debt for a short period of time so that you can get out there and get clients. And then those clients will bring you more clients because of Foresters and everything else you can do for them.
So Eric, you've been here. You've been with us for a good bit and made six figures pretty much the whole time you've been here. So you've been,
yes, sir.
In my eyes, you've been successful the whole time you've been here. So let's say, and we'll close with this, we've got two agents, and neither one of them has money to invest, but one guy says, I'll go sell my Xbox, and I'll get a credit card, whatever, and I can come up with $1,000. And the other guy says, I'll work my warm market. If you had to put money on it, which agent do you believe is going to be more successful?
The agent that's spending money on leads.
Seems like an easy question, right? So then the question is, what do you need to do? And this is for people listening. What do you need to do in order to get your leads so that you can be successful? Eric sold his wedding bands. Junior sold his Xbox. What is it that you need to do to be successful? And figure out that number, just like Eric said. If you want to make $2,000 a week, talk to your agency manager and how much do you need to spend on leads to invest so that you make that money back. And then it's just math, simple math. And if I told you spend $1,000 on leads, you write $10,000, and you're going to bring home $5,000, let's just say $5,000 minus your $1,000, that's $4,000. Where else, Eric, can you go and invest $1,000 and make $4,000 in the same week?
Nowhere that I know.
Impossible, isn't it?
Yep.
You could do it at the casino, but if you roll the dice just wrong, it's all gone, just like that. So I would call Ashlyn, I'd call Evan, I'd call Hannah in the lead department, or you can call me, and let's get you together and help you figure out where are you investing at, how do we increase investment so we increase your commission statements. Thank you, Eric, for being on. You did a great job, and we love Foresters. I know you do as well. We'll see you all next week.
You too, man. God bless.